about this story, this very disturbing story that happened in New York. I saw it on the news yesterday, and I was like, what the fuck is happening out there, you guys? So now, evidently, there was a woman. I think she's 31 years old. They haven't released her name. But she got off of work, and she went to a little bodega on the corner of 128th and St. Nicholas Avenue. For my New York peeps up there, y'all know where that is. Is that a good area? Is that a bad area? I mean, I guess that part of the story doesn't matter, but I'm just giving you guys location. So she walked into the little store after a long day at work. She decided she wanted a bottle of wine. Okay, she picked up her bottle of wine, took it up to the front counter, and was attempting to pay for it. There was a guy in a red parka, and him and his homeboy, you know, they walked up to her and told her, the guy in the red parka told her that he would pay for her wine. Okay, and she said, that's okay, you know, I can pay for it myself, thank you. I'm sure it was just as simple as that. You know, we as women, I mean, you know, men come up to us all the time, not all the time, but you know, we've all been in situations where a man has offered to do something for us, and we were just like, no, that's okay, thank you, like, I got it. Okay, you would think that that would be innocent enough. Okay, but evidently the guy in the red park and his friend, they didn't like that. They said that she thought she was too good for them. And you know, when they start up with that type of talk, then you just think to yourself like, oh my God, like, I just said I don't want you to pay for my wine, you know. And again, we as women have been in those situations where men are offended by us turning them down. They egos or whatever it is cannot take that. And then they become like a nuisance, you know. Usually it just ends with them saying a whole bunch of things about you, possibly calling you a bitch, you know, walking off or whatever. Not usually does it end in, you know, physically. But in this case, she walked out of the store, I guess attempting to ignore them. They kept on talking about her, saying things to her, and she finally turned around and said, like, what is it? Are you guys really trying to fight me? Like, what are you doing? I'm just trying to go pick up my daughter. Okay. Well, they didn't like that. And next thing you know, they attacked her. There were a couple of their other friends that were out there. I haven't seen the video because, you guys, I just can't watch these videos no more. They're just too traumatizing. But evidently there's a video, surveillance camera, where they fight her, they beat her down, she runs across the street, they tackle her, they kicking her, they stomping her out, take her cell phone. She said that one of the guys tried to bite her eyeball out. Now, this kind of behavior sounds like drugs to me, like PCP and shit. You know, when you start doing maniacal, like animal type shit where you trying to bite her eyeball out. Now, we just said we don't want you to pay for the wine. Ain't nobody said nothing else about you, nothing to you know, to you for her to deserve this type of attack. And you know, when you saw on the news report yesterday, literally her eye is swollen shut, and you can see the teeth marks around her whole socket, like right up in here, like they were really trying to bite her eyeball out. She said she tried to get away. People that were watching had said that she needed to run, that evidently this guy does this. Has done it to people in the past. So he's already known in that neighborhood to be attacking, I guess, women like that. No reason, no telling why, if he has done this to other women, why they didn't report it or whatever. Maybe it didn't get as violent as it did with this one. But they did call the police. The police came, took her to the hospital, but the guys got away. Now, on the videos, because I've seen pictures, they're clear. You can see exactly what these people look like. If the police don't know who they are, they're going to know real soon. By the time I put this video up, they might, you know, already have arrested them or whatever. But what the fuck? Motherfuckers is crazy. And it is so tough being a woman out there. I know that New York you can't, like in Georgia, you can carry a gun here. You get a gun license, you can put that shit right in your purse. Okay, you can wear a holster on your side. But in New York, you know, how are these women supposed to protect themselves when you got motherfuckers? I mean, you got people out here attacking women, and they could have killed that woman, biting her eyeball out. You guys, what the fuck? These people are crazy. Like I said, they have the surveillance cameras. They definitely gonna catch them guys, because somebody is gonna tell if they haven't already. And like I said, people in the neighborhood said that they've done it before, so they already know about it. So they know who these guys are. It's just a matter of apprehending them and bringing them in. But It's terrible and so cowardly to be beaten up on a lone woman who hasn't really done anything to you, you guys. So hopefully they're gonna get the book thrown at them, because this is just not okay. It's just not okay. You guys should see how that woman's face looked. It is awful. So hopefully she will. So they expect her to recover, you know, physically. She's beaten and bruised, but, you know, there was nothing, no long-term damage that was done. But, you know, mentally, emotionally, can you imagine how that woman must be feeling right now? It's terrible. So our hearts go out to them. Hopefully they catch the culprits, the people that did this, and throw the book at them. Fucking ridiculous. All right, you guys, so Chico DeBarge, you guys, this is just another tragic story. The DeBarge family has had so much tragedy in their lives. When you think about, when people say that a family is cursed, like, I don't usually believe those type of things when people say that, but when I think of the DeBarge family, it's never anything good, ever. Anything good that has come out of that household. They have so many generations of just, it's just wrong. The family has so many problems, and it started with the mother and father, and it has trickled down to the children and the grandchildren. It is really, really a sad situation. We know that most of the boys, actually all of the kids, you know, when we think about the brothers and the sisters, you know, that was on the line right after the mother and father. When we think about the kids, they've all had either drug, alcohol abuse problems, in and out of jail. There were domestic violence, sexual violence problem. I mean, just so many things that it has completely fucked up the kids. Just fucked them up. We know about Chico's legal problems in the past, James DeBarge's legal problems in the past and present, Chico's present problems, Il DeBarge's past and present problems. It's so sad because that family is so talented, and it's just the grips of drug and alcohol abuse has just like really got a hold of them and will not let them go. It's just like every single one of them have some sort of demon that they can't seem to get away from. So Chico DeBarge, his latest legal problem is he was driving in Burbank area. He was in a car that didn't have any lights on. This was late at night. He didn't have any lights on, and the car didn't have a license plate on him. So of course the police are going to stop you. When they pulled him over, he was in the car with two female friends, associates or whatever. He didn't have any ID on him. So when they asked him what his name was, he gave him James DeBarge's name. So he gave him his brother's name. Okay, I mean, how fucked up is that? I mean, we hear people say they do that all the time, but that is like really bad. Okay, especially knowing that James has his own past legal problems and really probably don't need this kind of shit in his life now. He can, you know, create his own problems, really. That's what they all do. So he gave his name as James DeBarge. They searched the car, searched him, and on him he had heroin, he had methamphetamines. And so they arrested him. They didn't realize that he was Chico DeBarge until they took him down to the station. I'm guessing they looked at his, you know, former arrest pictures and realized that he was actually Chico DeBarge, not James DeBarge. So he was arrested with drug possession, false impersonation, and yeah, just, you know, and so that's his newest legal battle. But yeah, just a tragedy, you guys. Evidently, he had a 35-year-old son last year who was murdered, stabbed a bunch of times in Burbank. I don't even remember hearing that story, you guys. Like, it never was, I don't remember hearing that hit the news. But evidently his son was homeless and had been attacked. They wasn't sure if it had anything to do with gang violence or whatever. But yeah, his son was murdered in 2019. No. Was it 2019? No, 2020. So like I said, that family just has had tragedy after tragedy after problem after tragedy after. It's just a sad situation. Okay. They said he was in jail, I think, for 10 days, and then he finally was released earlier this week. And so much talent, and just cannot seem to beat, like I said, that demon of drugs and alcohol, and just so much past family trauma that continues to drag them down. You know, just prayers up for that whole DeBarge family, man. They need it like nobody's business. All right, you guys, we had a string of deaths last week. First, you guys, I want to give a rest in peace to RIPHankAaron, the legendary baseball player, the civil rights activist, who meant so much to Atlanta, Georgia in particular, but really to the world when people think about his contributions to baseball. He still continues to hold all of these baseball records, but he was most known for his home runs that he would hit. Even over there at Turner Field to this day, they have the spot where he hit his 715th home run. They have it commemorated in the parking lot where the ball actually hit. He played baseball for 22 years and, I mean, broke all kind of barriers for many, many athletes, not in just baseball, but just in general, Black athletes who were not allowed to play, but especially in baseball, were not allowed to play, had to play in the Negro League. He crossed over and was playing in the actual baseball. And like I said, continues to hold these records even to this day. Now, depending on who you ask, he has the record for the most home runs hit, or others will say he held that record until 2007 when Barry Bonds actually broke the record. But people will also argue that Barry Bonds was always under suspicion of using performance-enhancing drugs. So there are many who don't believe that Barry Bonds deserves that title, and will still continue, will still give the honor to Hank Aaron, because we know back then wasn't nobody taking no damn drugs, and he won, all those games and hit all of those home runs on his own, without any type of help. I mean, it was just sheer talent, perseverance, humility. People will say that Hank Aaron was a good person all the way around. He is important, like I said, to Atlanta, Georgia. He owns many businesses here. He's created many opportunities, and that is what he has been doing since we've ever known who he was. When he was, threatening to pass Babe Ruth's records, and of course white people was not happy with that. He said he just had to continue on. He had death threats. He had a constant team of security around him, but he just had to keep going because that's all he knew how to do. People had so much respect for him. All week here in Atlanta, they have been honoring him. I have seen memorials. They finally did have his funeral yesterday and laid him to rest. His death was a big blow to Atlanta and to the baseball world and to the world itself. They said that he died in his sleep peacefully. He leaves behind his wife, Billy. They had 5 children, Gail, Hank Jr., Larry, Dorinda, and Cece, and then he had, grandchildren as well. He was 86 years old. Rest in peace to Hank Aaron. I also can give a rest in peace to CNN legend Larry King. He also died last week after his unsuccessful bout with coronavirus. They actually said that he had coronavirus at the end of December and that he no longer had it, but he died from complications that came as a result of coronavirus. So he ended up really dying from sepsis. I think that was his actual, his wife anyway, says that that's what he died from. And his body was infected. But they're still saying that it was from coronavirus, that that's basically what brought him down and he was never able to fully recover. Like I said, CNN legend Larry King will say that he's interviewed over 60,000 subjects, that he interviewed people all the way up to his show ended on CNN. After that happened, then he got another show on Hulu. You know, he became even more present on social media, and that, you know, that was one thing that Larry King was known for. Larry King had many ailments over the years. I mean, he had, I think they said, a quadruple heart bypass surgery. Some years ago, they said that he had surgery to have a lung removed because it had a cancerous tumor in it. In 2019, he had a stroke, and he recovered from all of that. And then what finally brought him down was coronavirus, you guys. We also knew him as the ladies' man. I think Larry King had been married 8 times. He had 5 children. 2 of his children had already died, preceded him in death. But who's still alive is Larry King Jr., who I believe is around 57 years old. And then he has a 21, 22-year-old, 20, you know, young, early 20 years old sons, Chance and Cannon, I believe are their names. Okay, those 2 boys are with his last wife. This was a big loss for them, and a big loss for, you know, the media world. He was a well-known journalist, reporter, interviewer, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, quite the ladies' man. I mean, by nobody's standards would anybody say that Larry King was like what we would deem as good looking. Not the average person anyway, but whatever Larry King had in him, he was able to convince quite a few beautiful women to marry him and, you know, procreate with him and everything, you guys. So definitely Larry King had it. He had it in some kind of which way, you guys. But yeah, he did finally pass from complications from coronavirus. How old was he? Oh, I think he was 80. Was it 87? I believe it was 87. I'll put it on the screen. But rest in peace to Larry King. And then lastly, rest in peace to Cloris Leachman. I didn't even get the information on her, you guys. I wrote it down, but I just know Cloris Leachman as this phenomenal actress. I remember her in, you know, first seeing her in the Mel Brooks movie, Blazing Saddles, you know, and I thought she was hilarious back then. And then I've seen her, you know, she's been in TV shows and in movies, and, you know, I can just remember her being on like Mary Tyler Moore's show, and I can remember her. Cloris Leachman is just a name that has always been around as a, you know, comedian actress, and she has died at 94 years old. So definitely lived her life, you guys. But still, the acting world, the entertainment world will miss her. I believe Cloris Leachman was married, but her husband preceded her in death. They did have 5 children together, and she leaves behind Dinah England, Morgan England, Brian England, George England Jr., and Adam England, okay? And I'm sure she has grandchildren and scores of family and friends and fans all over the world. Like I said, she was 94 years old. Rest in peace to Cloris Leachman. All right, you guys, so Wendy Williams, we've been talking about her a lot, haven't we? Probably because her Lifetime movie special comes on this weekend. And yes, I will be reviewing that on Sunday. That is the 31st, the last day of the month. I got to make sure I get I made sure I got to get my coins, y'all. So she's been making the rounds. I saw her on Good Morning America, and I saw her on, you know, she's being interviewed about the show and just the movie, and just what we can expect to come from that movie. She's very proud of it, and she believes that it tells a pretty good enough story in the 2 hours that was given to her. Well, evidently Lifetime does a 2-hour movie or 2-3-hour movie, and then they do like a documentary afterwards. And my thing is like, why do you guys do a documentary when you could just give that? Obviously a documentary doesn't cost as much as a full production on a TV show on a TV movie cost. So they do the documentary afterwards, and so she's saying that, you know, that actually gives an accurate description of her life, you know, especially the documentary where they talk to people that's been in her life, and, you know, they can give the ones and twos, the ups and downs, the ins and outs of Wendy Williams. But really, like I said, they need to start investing money in these. If they're going to do these damn show movies, then you need to do it right and at least give them 2 parts or 3 parts so we can get like a little bit more of a full story. But whatever, it's whatever, you guys. That's this weekend. So that's why we're starting to see quite a bit of Wendy Williams, because she's on a promo tour and she's got to talk about it. What's crazy though, you guys, is that Wendy Williams continues to talk about her personal things, which, you know, Wendy Williams has never been that way. So it's really just shocking now, the fact that she's not only talking about, you know, the drama that's going on with her brother, but also talking about, you know, she's always kind of mentioned here and there, very slight little shade about her ex-husband and the new wife or the new girlfriend, or, you know, or the girlfriend that's been around all this time. But now she just kind of calls them out by name and talks about them on the show, you know. She talked about the girlfriend. I can't think of what her name is right now, but she was just like, you know, shout out to her spending my money. Okay, getting in my car. Okay. Said the baby named Journey. She said she should be about 3 years old now. Okay. And then she was just like, hey, Kelvin, you know, and the people that worked for her that was on the stage with her, I mean, that white woman didn't know what to make of it. You know, she just kind of was looking like, child, you ain't getting me to say nothing on this. Okay, like I still got to deal with Kelvin in some witcher kind of way. I guess, so is it Kelvin or Kevin? I guess it's Kelvin really, but people, you know, call him Kevin because they just did. But so it's interesting that she's starting to open herself up more. I mean, one of the things that I've always said is that, you know, or people have always complained about, is that Wendy Williams will talk about everybody else but won't talk about herself. Well, now she's talking about herself too. Okay. And again, I guess it could all just be so that it brings more attention to her and brings more attention to her movie that's coming out this weekend. I guess we'll see once the movie is out. Like, is she going to continue with these antics on her show? She also has an interview with Claudia Jordan. I didn't get to see the video. Somebody sent me Debbie sent me the video, but I forgot to watch it. Okay. But I'm sure on that video, I was like, well, shout out to Claudia Jordan, because that was a big interview for her to get. Wendy Williams, that's a big deal. I guess her and Wendy have a good relationship, and they're also, you know, Claudia works for Fox Soul, and Wendy is on Fox. You know, her TV show is on Fox, and so maybe that was the way that it was set up. But this still is a good look for Claudia. But I haven't watched the video, so I don't know exactly what she's talking about. I imagine she's talking about all those things that I just talked about, plus more. It was an hour video I did see, so our interview. So y'all make sure you guys go check that out and see what your girl is talking about. But yeah, you guys, Wendy was just like, shit, ain't nothing off the table right now, honey. Okay, make sure you go and watch her movie. Comes on Lifetime this weekend. Like I said, y'all check back here on Sunday. I will get that review up and for you. And then you guys, lastly, in quickies, congratulations to Amanda Gorman. You guys remember her. She is the 22-year-old Black poet who spoke at Joe Biden's inauguration, gave her, gave her poem at the inauguration, and shot up, catapulted to superstardom after that. She was acquired by IGM Models. They now represent her, and they're saying that they want to build her profile by putting her out there for brand endorsements and, you know, furthering her editorial like type of commitment. So basically make her spokeswoman for companies and book opportunities. Okay. She does have 2 books coming out, a children's book, I believe, and a book of poetry. And that's all on the strength of her speaking at this inauguration. I'm sure that many people would like to have her as their brand ambassador. I mean, she's young, she's very pretty. She's, you know, and she's kind of the what's what in the who's who right now. So, you know, we gonna give her the fist pump of righteousness, like I said, for that Black girl magic. Y'all ain't gonna get enough of us, y'all. Anyway, so congratulations to her. And then congratulations, I guess, are also in order for K. Michelle, who let us know that she now has I'm assuming, a reality show that will be coming on Lifetime that she is now recording. And I don't know when this show is supposed to be coming on. But yeah, she said that Love and Hip Hop, even though it was a vehicle for her at one point, it no longer is. And so she just feels like, you know, that wasn't a good fit for her. She didn't want to be on the screen with any of those people. Now she's got this show and she's filming for it now. And I guess we'll get it in the future, but she's real proud of it. You know, and I guess on the show, she said that she's going to be helping other women, you know, and saving lives. And so I don't really know what's going to happen on this show, but she's happy that she has it coming. Okay. So good for K. Michelle. We don't see much of K. Michelle. I mean, you know, when people say that she's been blackballed, I 100% believe it, because, honey, nobody really gives K. Michelle the time of day any longer. So we'll see how the show does on Lifetime. If this can kind of push her back out there into the front. But as far as her music and all that, they don't play it, y'all. Not at all. So this will be a good look for her, I hope, anyway. And then lastly, TamarBraxton posted that all these years she thought it was everybody else, but it turns out that it was her. Okay. And I mean, we've had these conversations before. I had already told you guys that I was going to love Tamar from a distance, because Tamar, you know, has a whole lot with her and creates a lot of the shit around her. And at least from that post, maybe she is realizing that, you know, she is the reason why she's found herself in many of the predicaments. Not trying to victim blame people, because she has been the victim in many circumstances. But I think the road to healing is sometimes we have to realize how we maybe put ourselves in certain circumstances that make things harder for ourselves. And once you realize that, then, you know, when you know better, you do better, and you take yourself out of those places, and then you don't have to fight that battle any longer. So hopefully that's where Tamar is, and that she, you know, she seems to be trying to get better. And I can't knock that. Mental health is serious, something that people need to take serious. People need to work on their mental health just like they do their physical health. You know, the same way that you exercise, you need to do things that help your brain, your mentality as well. So good for her. Good for her. All right, you guys, before I get off of here, I just wanted to remind you guys that we are now selling It's Rocks merchandise on my YouTube store. I know a lot of people have reached out to me and told me that they can't reach the store. I'm still trying to get that settled or figured out with Teespring. You guys, the way that this company works is this is something that is offered from Teespring, which is the name of the company that actually makes the t-shirts and the sweatshirts and all of that. I don't have any contact with any of the product. I just tell them that I want them to offer these different products to you guys, and then you guys buy the product, and then I split the profit with that company. So I don't have it on my person. I'm not in control of making the design. I mean, I did make the designs. I got the designs drawn, but I don't, you know, I'm not making them, and I'm not sending them out. I'm not shipping it or anything. So I still have to go through Teespring, the company, to get these things situated. It showed that it was in Canadian dollars when obviously we are not in Canada. It is not being, the store is not available on my YouTube page. Some people cannot see it. Even that link that I provided is not taking you guys to the store. So I'm trying to get all of that resolved, and hopefully I will get that resolved by the end of this weekend, and I will let you guys know. so that you guys can all get to those links and, you know, do whatever it is that you want to do. So I'm working on it. I've heard people talking about it, and I'm, you know, asking me questions about it. So I am definitely working on it. Okay. This is a sweatshirt that I have. The sweatshirts and the t-shirts and the mugs and the, you know, they all come in different colors. So I've just ordered these colors for me, but they come in black and white and pink and blue and green and purple. And so there's a variety of colors that you're able to choose from. So you guys can go over there and check it out. All right. And then I'm going to get off of here. We do this every single week. So make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.